And we are live, a little bit late, but here we are. What's up, guys? My name's Dom, and welcome back to another Survivor LU recap. Today we are recapping episode 7, featuring my co-host Drew. Drew, I know you said that you weren't going to be here this week. Good to see you.
Things change. Just like the plans in this episode, things change, and here we are.
Things do change, and we got Grace, our wonderful co-host from season 1 and current host from seasons 2, 3, and 4 in post-production, correct?
Yes, that is true.
Alrighty, good to have you, Grace. And last but not least, finally we have the eliminated contestant. Spoiler alert, we have Luke joining us today. Luke, how are you doing today?
Dom, I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here. This is fun getting to watch this all and do all this, post-game stuff. So I'm glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Well, we got a lot to talk about. You were definitely the center of a lot of episodes going on, courtesy of Drew's Edgic. We got to see your progression throughout the season. I was bummed to see you go. So let's dive deep right into it. First episode, let's recap a little bit up to this point. Luke, how did you get casted onto the show? What drew you to want to be on it?
Yeah, so first of all, I love Survivor. I've been watching with my family for a couple years, and I'm a big fan. And so I was at a block party, which our school does every year, and there was this group of these people. I think Grace was one of them. They were just hanging out for hours for this Survivor thing, and I was like, okay, cool. I want to join this. So I got me and a couple of my friends to apply to this thing to try joining it. And sure enough, I got invited to the audition, and I auditioned for it and did the interview, and I got on the show. That's what happened.
Nice. Grace, did you have any hand in casting Luke, or were you just kind of along for the ride at that point, just kind of testing out the co-hosting?
Oh, yeah, I remember handing out flyers that day at the block party with Logan, my co-host. Logan and I didn't even really know each other super well at that point, so we were super awkward, and we were standing, they had these gates of the entrance to the block party. It's this big thing Liberty does. They bring in a bunch of bands, they bring in carnival rides, they have all these food vendors, and then they have a section for all the clubs to advertise, but we're not a club on campus yet officially. And so we stood outside the gate, illegally handing out flyers, just hoping no one would say anything to us. So many of them got littered on the ground. But I think someone actually found us through picking one off the ground, so it worked. But yeah, and so when we got any applications in, we'd kind of read through them. And then if they were good, we would ask them for an in-person interview. And I remember Luke being one of the people we were super excited about casting. We loved his energy. We thought he would be not only athletic, but also super entertaining, which proved to be pretty true.
Yeah, definitely. Drew, I know you were a big fan of Luke throughout the season, as was I. What's it like to see Luke out of the game right now? I know you sent me a list of questions that we can probably eventually get to in the case that you weren't going to show up tonight, but thank God that you are here so that you can get it firsthand.
Yeah, I feel like based on the edit we were seeing, Luke, I knew you weren't going to win just because we got so much Luke nonstop, which was great because, like Grace said, you were entertaining. You were a good strategic player. You were a good social player. And, the confessionals were great because we got a good mix of who you are as a person and who you are as a player, which is always good to see. Disappointed that you didn't make it further because I feel like you would have been fun to watch in the end game. But yeah, so I guess let's talk through your game a little bit, starting that first week walking up to meeting everybody and the start of the game, those alliances. How was that for you?
Yeah, it was crazy right off the bat. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I'm not gonna lie, there because I had seen the season that you did, Drew. I watched a few episodes. I was like, oh, this is what I thought. That's what I was getting into. I didn't know that it was going to be like this. Like there was going to be all these camera people. There was going to you guys spent months playing this out in advance. I didn't realize how intense it was going to be right off the bat. And so initially getting there and seeing all the different people, we all had our shirts on and stuff, and it was it was just really surreal. It's like, oh crap, this is real Survivor. We got to like get going here. Let's go. And so, but yeah, like right off the bat, I just, I kind of got in my group of the people with the blue collar shirts on and started talking with them and connecting. And the first people I met were Nathan and David. And right off the bat, I was like, okay, these guys are really cool. I want to work with them. These are going to be my number one, number two right here. I wanted to work with them really badly. But Nathan especially, like right off the bat, Nathan and I connected like right away. I kind of got this feeling like, okay, this guy's going to be my guy. Like he's going to be my ride or die. Like I want to work with this guy. And so, but then more people started coming. We just kind of started, introducing each other, and just kind of figuring out who we were. And we got into the challenge. We got to Temptation first, which was a little bit of a disappointment, but yeah, but it was really cool getting having that whole experience at the beginning.
Yeah, throughout the game, we saw you kind of emerge from like this, like a little bit more social player. Like you had your hand, like talking to a lot of people. You had your alliances with all on the Gihan tribe, and then the tribe swapped, and you suddenly like blew up the game when you played those two idols. What was going through your head with that? Like, I mean, you clearly were in a really nice kind of under the radar spot at that point, and then like all of a sudden, the game just blew up. How did you kind of like take that in, and how did you adapt to that?
Yeah, so when we did the tribe swap, the numbers were, there was five original Gihan, and there were 7 original Tigress. And so the thought process going into that week when I found those idols was at first, okay, let's just find these idols first, and then we're going to just sit down and see what happens. So I found one, and then Liz got one too. So we kind of were working together to decide what we wanted to do. And the more and more I met with people that week, there was one confessional show in that episode when I was meeting with Megan. She had said that the Tigress's Tigress's strategy is to basically vote off Gihan one by one by one. And her pitch to me was basically that I could be the last one, and then we could work together later on. But I didn't want to be viewed as a GOAT this season. I wanted to be viewed as someone who was making big moves, being on top of the game. And I genuinely thought, and I still think to this day, that if Tigress would have had the numbers going into the merge, I think they would have wiped out maybe not all the Gihan, but definitely some of the people on top, like me, Alexa, maybe Nathan. So I was like, this is probably my best shot at staying in the game as long as possible. We're going to play the idol for the new Tigress tribe here. And then Liz gave the idol to Nathan, and then we evened up the numbers 5-5. So the thought process was, there's no way that I'm going to be able to stay alive unless Gihan has some of the numbers, is what the thought process was.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Well, you went through, I'm pretty sure, right, every single tribal council of the pre-merge that you could possibly attend, right?
Yes, I was at every single tribal council in the game. I was there. I wasn't safe from the tribal council 1 to the one I got voted out. I was at every single one, and I was not safe for any of them.
Yeah, so you had quite the journey. You survived all those tribal councils. You survived a Rocks tribal council. You found 2 idols, and yet your Survivor bucket list came to an end on Thursday night's episode. Yeah. Could you give us a little insight onto your thought process going through that whole day?
So like
that whole week, I guess.
Like after I got voted out, or that the week before, like the week
the week of, I guess. Yeah, the whole episode.
Yeah, for sure. So so that was the 7th week of doing this game, and the week before I had made a move that I don't think helped me out a whole lot with the whole fake idol situation. So basically what happened with that whole idol situation is I had told everyone in Gihan beforehand, I was like, hey guys, I'm going to pretend like I find this idol. That was actually Liz's idea, and everyone was like, oh, that's a good idea, let's do it. And I knew that no one in Tigress wanted to work with me based off that previous tribal council. And so I was like, best case scenario, this works. They all leave and one of the Gihan members can find it. Worst case, they get mad at me, but they're already mad at me, so it doesn't really matter. So I did that. I made the move, and the second happened. They were just mad at me, and it didn't really do a whole lot other than just paint a bigger target on my back. So that probably wasn't the best decision overall for wanting to get farther on the game. And so I knew going into that week, I was like, okay, I'm kind of like already on the edge. I'm like walking on thin ice here. I need to do like what I can in order to like stick with my initial my initial alliance and try, but try not to be like super crazy in the moves I was making. And so, but we had that meeting with my alliance, and we were talking about what should we do for the vote this week. And I had suggested that we put 3 votes on Nate and 3 votes on Nate and 2 votes on Dawson, because Nate, Todd, and Nicole, they both said that they were going to vote for Dawson. So I was like, hey, like worst case scenario, they play an idol. It can go to a revote because it'll be 3 for Nate, 3 for me. If Nate, Nicole, and Dawson all voted for me or one of the other members of our tribe. And my alliance, they didn't want to do it. They were pretty dead set on either the fact that they thought that Dawson didn't have an idol, or they thought, well, worst case scenario, Luke goes home. I think Ben mentioned that in his episode, which I think was a really good move on their parts. Like I respected, but it definitely didn't help me out at all. And I kind of like was like, okay, just Dawson just can't play an idol this tribal council. Dawson can't play an idol this tribal council. But unfortunately he did. So made me the 3rd member of the jury. But yeah, so I was basically trying to kind of stay somewhat under the radar, and that's why I didn't kind of make I didn't make any like crazy moves. I was sticking with my alliance that week, but ultimately it didn't help me out at the end because Dawson got the autoplay on me.
I have lots of questions
about
other things that happened in the game that I just wanted your perspective on.
Yeah, shoot for it.
So in the 2nd episode, we see Addie Grace go because you and Megan H have a conversation and she connects with you. But then, of course, the next week is the double tribal, and so you have to go back to tribal anyway. Was there any consideration from you to keep Megan, since you were basically her only connection left on the tribe?
It crossed my mind, but overall, I wasn't seriously considering it because I was super tight with the other 4 Gihon members, and I kind of knew at that point that if Megan makes it to Tigers, she's gonna work with them. She's not gonna work with Gihon because these people have already kind of backstabbed her, and I just don't think that. I don't think she would have. I think she would have worked the Tigers and tried to wipe us all out. So I thought it'd make more sense for my game in order to stick with my initial 4. So it never really crossed. I mean, it crossed my mind. I thought about it, but it never was like a serious consideration because I was super, like at that point in time, like our 5 was super, super tight. Like we were, like there was no like quarrels amongst us. We were all like focused on ready to get to this tribe swap, make it past into the merge and work together. So at that point in time, like us 5 were tight, and I wasn't planning on flipping on them.
Well, and I think I remember too, it didn't make it into the episode just because it was going to be too complicated to explain to the average viewer. But Megan Harvey, that you guys voted out, had actually played in a one-day that Drew hosted with me and some of the other production members of the semester-long version, and she had lied about that. And you guys, obviously, we told you guys about the one days. A lot of you watched it. You saw that she was on it. And I remember a lot of your guys' logic at that point was, well, if she lied about that and we have video proof of it, why should we trust her? What else is she going to lie about?
That was a huge part of it, too. I forgot about that, Grace. I mean, this was a year and a half ago. So there's all these little things that I keep remembering of what was going on. But, yeah, that was another huge thing. She didn't tell any of us about it. I think someone might have asked her. I don't really remember. I just remember she was like she didn't tell anyone about it, and it just seemed very suspicious because she had that experience of playing Survivor already before, and so so that was definitely another big part of it too.
So moving forward a little bit, we get to the merge, and at the merge the numbers are 5-5, and everybody stays 5-5 through the first vote. And you kind of get into it a little bit with Nate and Ellie. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, especially what we didn't see? Because my next question was going to be jury management, because obviously Ellie goes, and if people are getting into it with Ellie, Ellie's the Ponderosa mayor. So
yeah, you're right. And so tribal council that week was heated. That was probably the most heated one of the season. It was there's a lot of raw emotions. Everyone was trying to do what they could to fight to not, because we all knew in the back of our heads we were going to rocks. It was just kind of like it was going to happen. Everyone was just kind of making their last minute pitches and pleas, and I spoke like 2 or 3 different times trying to encourage everyone to flip in order to like make a big move in resume. I didn't think it was going to do anything, but I was like, might as well throw a Hail Mary here and see what happens. But And Nate and Ellie, they had a few choice words for me. Some of it didn't make it in the episode. It wasn't anything like really bad, but like Ellie had said a few things that weren't added into the episode, which definitely was, that. And then Nate said a few things too. I think that was put in the episode. I don't really remember, but they were both just were telling me just like to stop talking and like stuff like that. Like they said, no one trusts me. And so I was like, you know what, I'll just stop talking. I'm going to rocks. I'm not flipping. I don't think anybody else is flipping. And sure enough, Ellie draws the rock. So that was pretty cool. Sorry, Drew. I know you were a big Ellie fan. Sorry.
But I'm a big Luke fan too.
Oh, thank you, Drew. I'm honored.
I guess.
And Dom, I know you too. I saw in the earlier ones you would put me like getting fourth or something. So you hyped me up earlier. I appreciate that, Dom. I watched. I was like, come on, that's my man right there.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna be our fallen angel right before the finals. Everybody was gonna be like, we can't take Luke to the end, and you came out swinging right out of the gate, and so they kind of picked up on that.
Yeah, it was a little too early, I think, if I wanted to get to that. Yeah.
So what's the takeaway from the game? What have you learned? Anything?
What have I learned? Well, overall the game was like, it was a ton of fun. I had a blast doing it. I wouldn't trade the experience or anything. It was a great start to my first semester of college. And so that was just really cool, just getting to do that. I got to meet a bunch of friends. That was the biggest thing I took out of it, was just the friendships I gained from this. I've gained so many awesome friends from the cast and people in production, like, you know, Drew and Grace we got over here. And then it was just a really rich experience, I feel like, overall, even though I didn't make it to the end. And even though I said in the beginning I'd rather win and lose friends, I ended up like gaining a bunch of friends and not winning. And that was actually like, that was a more richer experience, I feel like, than actually of winning the game and not making any of those friends that I had. So I'm really glad it worked out that way. And other takeaways, I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to think, like game takeaways specifically. Maybe I think I definitely jumped the gun a little too soon. I think. I mean, like I'm glad I made the move in week 4 with the 2 idols. I think that was necessary in order for me to stay in further. But I think I kind of asserted myself at the merge as like this kind of I don't know, like the overseer of Gihan, and I probably should have toned down a little bit more with that. And at that point, I just didn't really care what Nate and Nicole and some of the other people thought. So I was just like, you know, I'm just gonna like which like you were saying, Drew, it probably wasn't the best jury management. I probably should have thought about that a little bit more, but yeah, some of those things were kind of like some takeaways I thought of it.
Gotcha. Well, we got Dustin in the comments. He said that you were clearly one of the best players of the season. And he also commented, what does your mom have to say? What was it that your mom said that you weren't going to make the merge, or you're going to not make the first tribal that you went? And
yeah,
I clearly proved her wrong. What was with that?
I'm watching this live right now. I sent her the link. But no, she was super happy that that I proved her wrong in a sense. You know, I think there was a confessional. I think it was either Tri-Stop or the merge that I called my mom. And it was the merge. I called my mom. I was like, hey, Mom, it's the merge. And she was super pumped and stuff. I was kind of like keeping my family updated and what was going on in the game and everything. And so they're having fun watching the whole season. They were a little upset last week. I got voted out. They were a little upset with Dawson. But but over, like, she was really excited for me. It was great. And thank you, Dustin. I appreciate it, dude. I know you said some nice things about me throughout the season, so I really appreciate that too.
Speaking of moms, Luke, I know my parents watch every week, and you were one of her favorite players.
Aww.
To me, after the show, very concerned. She has a pressing question for you. She wants to know if you and Dawson's friendship survived that betrayal.
Oh yeah, it did. Dawson and I are great friends. Here, I'll show you. He posted a photo on Instagram the other day. Like we were hanging out last night. Like we're still incredible friends, and even though it got a little heated at betrayal, we're still homies. I think Dawson posted this a couple weeks ago. It's just, you know, us hanging out on the mountain up here. We went a little hike together, so with a couple people. So we're still great homies, and like everyone on the Survivor cast are good friends to this day, which is really cool. So yes, Grace's mom, it survived. We're still really good friends. Don't worry. I know it got a little heated, but it's all good in the hood. No worries.
I think there is one other relationship that I'm curious about, and that is you and the Sports Clips lady. What were her thoughts as you were recording your confessional in Sports
Oh
Clips?
my gosh, she was so confused, Drew. She was very confused. I think she was a little bit worried. She was a little scared. She just didn't quite know what was going on. She just, her mind wasn't all there because she was just, I think she just didn't know what was going on. I told her, I was like, hey, I have this like school club that I'm in. We have to film something for it. Do you mind if I like film it while I'm doing the haircut? And she was just like, yeah, I guess. And so I only went that was the last time I went to Sports Clips. It was a good haircut, but there's been some better ones over the years, and so I haven't seen. That was the only time I've seen her in my life. So maybe she's watching this right now. Who knows?
We actually have her backstage. No,
no, I'm bringing her on right now. I'm just kidding. That was funny though. It just kind of crossed my mind. I was gonna haircut. I was like, I should record a confessional. That'd be fun. That'd be funny. So because the thought process was like there's a very high chance I'm just going to draw the rock and go home that week. So might as well have a funny confessional. Might as well. I pulled the water bottle out of my backpack that week to act like I found I acted like I was going to play an audible at Travel Council. I was just trying to be funny because I thought there's a chance I might go home, but turned out it didn't. I got a few more weeks left in the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Luke, you honestly, I feel like you and a couple other competitors that might be still in the game set the tone for the season and how and not even just the season, probably I'm guessing the series in of itself. The gameplay that you brought to it, I think you really knocked it out of the park. And that's, something that you don't really see in a lot of season 1 live games to begin with. So honestly, kudos for doing that. Not only in the gameplay, but also the confessionals. You rocked it.
I appreciate it, man. It means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess the question on everybody's minds is, would you play again?
Just give me the call. Give me the call. I'll be there.
We love to hear it.
I had a great time. I'd love to play again. If there's a returning season, just give me a call, Grace.
Oh, I have banned that question of people asking me, when can I play again? When can I play again? And the problem is, a lot of people like Luke are currently helping us they're on our crew, they're our production team. And I'm like, why would I do a returning season? I would lose all my crew. But rumor has it one is potentially coming around the corner. Nothing set in stone, but I know a lot of people want to be on it.
Luke, so you're on the production end of side of things. For these newer seasons that are in post-production, what is it like kind of seeing it from the player perspective to then the production perspective?
Oh, it's so much less stressful. I'll tell you that. It's a lot of fun seeing people go through what we all went through. No, it's great just kind of helping help the community stay around. Because I had an awesome time doing it. A lot of other people had a great time. And so just being able to help in any way I can is really fun. I just kind of come every once in a while and help film with my phone and stuff. But yeah, no, it's definitely a lot less stressful. But it's a lot of fun seeing people go through what I went through and all my friends went through that first season. So it's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. I do have a question though. Thinking about last week's episode, not your episode, but MJ's episode. I know that the options were either MJ or it was going to be Nate, and Nathan told you. It seemed like Nathan controlled that vote and got it to go to MJ. Is there any sort of domino effect that may have led to your boot? Do you feel, because you kind of left Dawson out on a limb out there? So
yep, for sure. Yeah. So that vote was, Nathan and I were discussing that the entire week. We were both very conflicted on what to do. And I think I was leaning more towards MJ the whole week, and Nathan was leaning more towards Nate the whole week. Mm-hmm. And towards actually the day before the vote, we had both agreed, hey, we're going to vote Nate. We're going to vote Nate. We'll probably pull in one other person. from our original Gihan, and we're going to start this alliance. We're going to get it going. And then the next day, we both called and we're like, I think he called me and was like, dude, are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's risky. And looking back, like it was honestly back and forth, but Nathan had so much pull that particular vote. Like he was, I had no idea he was with literally every single person that entire week. People were going to Nathan and like trying to get him to do what he was doing. And Nathan definitely like towards the end of the week, he was definitely like like literally the day of tribal council, he was pretty like dead set. Like we should do Nate. We should do Nate. And the thought process behind that was like, there's a very good chance because that was the week the idol was there. And I think I'm going to be honest here. I think if that whole idol hunt didn't happen and there wasn't that hidden immunity idol found, I think we would have voted Nate and Nate would have been the second member of the jury that week. But because there was suspicion of an idol, Nathan and I were concerned that the idol was going to be played on because they would know who we were going to vote for. Idol will be played on MJ and then, but idol will be playing on Nate. I'm sorry, and then they could decide who they wanted to go home. So there's a lot of ifs, ands, buts. But Nathan had so much pull that week, and he was like definitely he was the kingpin of that particular vote. Like he was the mastermind behind it, I would say.
Yeah.
And I think if I'm remembering correctly from that week, some of Nathan's thought process, again, we get hours of videos, so we can't quite get everything in the episodes, is MJ is just a super likable person. She's super fun. We didn't have as much content from her, like confessionals, but she was just super friendly. Everyone wanted to be MJ's friend. And at that point, Nate had rubbed a lot of people, even on his own tribe, wrong. And so I think they thought in the end, Nate would be a lot less risky sitting next to you than MJ with a Tigress heavy jury.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And the concern is that one of the Tigers is going to sneak to the end, and that if it's a Tigress heavy jury, they can control the vote. And so we were like, oh, if MJ gets to the end, she's going to win because she's playing a great social game. Everybody loves her. And she's kind of like, she was really at the head of that whole Tigers trap. I feel like she was kind of like the glue holding everyone together in a sense. And so like we were scared that she was going to get to the end and she was going to win if she was in any longer. And that was definitely like part of the vote as well. And then same like with Nate, we didn't think if Nate got to the end he'd win. We weren't sure, but we just didn't think because we knew he'd already rubbed people the wrong way. He had rubbed everyone at Gihan the wrong way, and so we were just like we were a lot more confident that we were like kind of like, oh well, we can keep Nate around longer because we don't think he's going to win if he gets to the end. Compared to MJ, because she was just like killing it during the game.
Right, and that seemed to be kind of a thought that multiple people were having. We hear Ben say that he wants Nate at the end because he thinks he can beat Nate. So definitely that's a thought that is happening moving forward. And moving forward, Dom, where are we at? We just lost our biggest player, really, our loudest player of the season.
Yeah, I still think we have Dawson's in there, who's arguably playing just as big of a above the radar game as Luke was with all his immunity wins. Now he's got an idol play on his record, so Dawson is definitely in a little bit more trouble than last week. So I'm a little nervous for Dawson, and I'm a little nervous for Alexis. Actually, I don't know. We didn't really get to see a lot of her this last episode. So I don't know where she stands with a lot of the people left in the game. So I do think this was definitely a win for the Tigers people. Specifically, I'll give another shout out to Nicole, my winner pick, for probably skating by another week without getting any blood on her hands, even though that video of her being super bloody scared
me. I was like,
I was like, oh my God, like we have another concussion injury potentially. So that was, but anyway, yeah, Nicole is definitely top for the Tigers, and I feel like Nathan from Gihan is in probably the best spot. And we're seeing Ben get a lot more strategic content rather than his character content than we beginning at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah. Who do you think is going to win though, Dom? If you had to put all your money in right now, who do you think is going to win?
I will go with my initial gut and say Nicole. So
I'm actually worried about Nicole now.
She still has her idol. So.
She does still have her idol, but I think now that Luke is gone and Liz and Ben and Nathan and Alexa all still being together and multiple people wanting to take Nate to the end, that leaves Dawson and Nicole more on the outs. And yes, Dawson is a more visible threat, but I also definitely think that Nathan, Ben, and Alexa are smart enough to know that, hey, Nicole is someone we need to look out for as well. So I'm actually a little bit concerned for Nicole, but I'm more concerned for Dawson. I was really concerned for Dawson last week, and I'm even more concerned for him now.
Yeah. I hate to see these big players go home, Luke, you especially, because you guys bring it every single week, and we can definitely count on you for doing that. So I hope Dawson is coming ready to play in this week's episode on Thursday.
Yeah.
So Luke, for you, watching these episodes back, who is surprising you the most? Who do you think definitely has a better grasp on the game, whether they're out of the game already or in the game still? Who has surprised you the most?
Are you talking about like what my thought process was like right when I got voted out, or like
in the game, like say like your perception of somebody was one way and then seeing how they've been edited? Who has surprised you the most in like a positive way?
In a positive way, okay. I would
or negative if we want to go both either way.
No. I will say that I would say for Ben specifically, he's definitely is a like I knew like. Yeah, I'm trying to think how to word this. I like how he's edited. And I like how he's shown, and it was definitely like his confessionals are awesome. They're great, and he's like you're saying, he's starting to make some like really good moves, and like a lot of the behind the scenes stuff of what Ben was doing wasn't really like shown before, I guess, in a sense. So I kind of like how that's going. I didn't like seeing Nathan in every single situation. I'm like, wow, Nathan's like, I just didn't really like remember like all of this, and just seeing Nathan everywhere is like great, like that's awesome. But overall, like everyone's confessionals have been like pretty awesome, and just seeing how everyone plays is great. And so, yeah, I can't really think of like I viewed everyone pretty much this like similarly from how the game was, but there's people that are playing like a lot, like I'd say like more strategic than I would have thought, like when I played, I guess back in the day, if you will.
Honestly, I think everybody left in the game is playing strategically well, except for maybe Liz, but because we don't really hear from Liz, we don't really know if she's playing strategically well or not. But honestly, like everyone who made it to the merge, killing it strategically. So I'm excited. Dom, you want to throw out a bold prediction?
My bold prediction, I'm going to go Dawson wins immunity. Maybe another Gihan goes. Maybe Ben will make a move. I don't know.
I'm thinking Nicole uses her idol to save Dawson and brings the numbers to 3-3.
I like that as well. I might hop on that bandwagon.
I don't know. I just feel like it's obvious that Dawson's the big target, and the numbers aren't great for him. I mean, he was left out of 2 votes ago when MJ went. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'm curious, though, on what Nicole plans on doing with that idol, because she obviously felt no need to use it when they were going to Rocks back at the merge episode. So I don't know if she's willing to use it for other people in her alliance besides herself, and we really haven't seen much discussion about that from her. So
yeah, and that's true. I'll agree with that. That was very shocking, figuring out that she had the idol the whole time, because that vote, the merge vote, because we had told MJ who we were voting for, we had told Dawson who we were voting for, so Tigers knew we were voting Nate. So if she would have played the idol for Nate Todd, then they could have chose which one of Gihan went home. But Instead, she was like, we're gonna hold on to this idol, and we're gonna go to rocks, and we'll see what happens. So it's a very, very, very different approach than I guess kind of how I took in like the episode 4 with trying to like get my whole tribe like there. She was like kind of focused on I'm gonna keep this for myself for now and take my chances. So that was a very bold move for Nicole for sure.
I do have a question for Grace. Grace, do we know when the last time idols can be played is?
Yes, and I want to say we kept it the same for as it is on the show. So final 6 or 5, I want to say.
Okay, so it's coming up soon.
Yes, it's coming up soon. You can't play it on final 4 or anything crazy like that.
Okay, and then do we know if it's going to be a final 2 or final 3?
We don't know. We don't know yet.
I don't know either. So
Grace, you just can't say.
I guess we'll have to watch and see. I can encourage you though, without any spoilers. I know the absence of Luke is real sad. He was really fun to watch. I didn't enjoy snuffing his torch, only a little. But there is a lot of great strategy that is still to come. Still a lot of really interesting moments. Even moments where we as production were looking at each other going, "Oh my gosh, what's gonna happen?" So definitely a lot still in store in the game. A lot of game left to play in the little few weeks that we have left.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I was gonna say I'm glad that I got to go with the jury because, getting to watch the rest of the game was really fun, and just kind of being able to hang out with the people that got voted out, and just like just manning the jury it was great. So, but yeah, it gets pretty crazy. It is far from being near over. Like it's crazy. It's gonna be a good next couple episodes for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Grace, we do have another question for you from Dustin. He wants to know, how does it feel to be the person to snuff out the torches? Seeing players like Luke and other players throughout the season that you may be rooting for from the production side, do you get a little bit of satisfaction from that, or is it all kind of...
It is a weird thing to snuff out people's torches, because at the beginning of the game, there's so many new people, so many new players. I don't really know them personally yet, but I feel bad because it's embarrassing to be one of the first people to have their torch snuffed, especially if there's someone like Sam who's trying really hard, loves the game, and goes out way early. So you feel bad in those scenarios. And then towards the end, I've gotten to know these players pretty well. I've watched their videos weekly while I'm cooking dinner or folding laundry. And so these people become my friends too. And then I know how much they're investing in it and how much it means to them. And so then I feel a little bad then snuffing their torches. Every once in a while, there's someone that might bother production a little bit. And I'm like, all right, it's good having you on. See you later.
Does that mean come on me?
Yeah, I will say there's been sometimes though I walk back and I get the votes and I ask our film crew who's been back there. I'm like, all right, who's going? And I'm like, oh gosh, and I'm just dreading that walk back in. I'm like, I don't want to ruin this for someone, but I'm also like, it's not my fault. I didn't write your name down.
Yeah, that's definitely my least favorite part about hosting was the first vote out and the second vote out, and then it gets gradually easier. But once you hit the merge, it's a lot harder to send people home just because how hard the people have been playing and like how much they've invested into the game at that point. So, Luke, what was it like for you after the game? Just relaxing on jury, I guess, but were you still like in game mode, like thinking of all the scenarios and stuff? Or
yeah. I was definitely in game mode afterwards for a bit still, but like the stress was immediately relieved. Like it was really a weird feeling, like just realizing, okay, I don't have to worry about like all these different things going on. But same time, like it hurts a little bit because you're still like in game mode and like you're thinking, oh gosh, if I had just done this, if I had just done that, I could still be in. But like as getting to be in the jury was like really chill, and like at the end of the day, I have like no regrets at all about how I play. Like I'm really happy with how I did with getting to my goals were not to be the first person voted out and make some big moves, and so I got to do that, and I got to play some idols and make to the merge, make some big moves, and then most importantly, make some awesome friends. Like that was the best part of it. And so yeah, it was definitely like it was definitely like a weird feeling because I'd been doing that at that point for like 60 days maybe. Like it was like a couple months at that point. So I was like, dang, like now I can just chill. So it was a weird feeling, but overall, like, yeah, definitely still a little bit in the game mode after I got voted out.
Yeah, Luke, you had a heck of a run this season. Like you said, you checked a lot of things off of Survivor bucket list that a lot of people can't say. Between surviving all your tribal councils, finding not one but two idols, kind of, with all those clues that you had.
Yeah.
And then sort of going to rocks. I guess anything else on your bucket list that you want to see besides win Survivor?
That I wanted to see? I mean, no, that was way above my like initial wants and desires. I mean, obviously I would have loved to have gotten to the end, but like I was super happy with that, like how I played and stuff. It was great. Yeah.
Well, you definitely earned a great title of I think my fan favorite at this point. So you did a fantastic job. Do you have anything else to say? This is your recap episode, so
wow, I'm flattered. No, I had a blast playing this. It was so much fun. I'm thankful to Grace and to Logan and to Lauren and Derek. Derek was the mastermind behind all this. This is his brainchild. So like they definitely did an awesome job at building this up again, kind of getting this community going. It was awesome. And so it's been a great experience. I loved every minute of it. And I'm, super thankful that I get to do stuff like this. This is really fun. So, and I love how you guys are running this live rally games, Dom. You're killing it. And Dustin too. So good job, guys.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight, Luke. Grace, when can we see episode 8? When is that going to be out?
Episode 8 will be out this Thursday at 8 p.m. Same YouTube channel, Survivor LU. You can find it there.
Perfect. And we will be back.
There's a really good looking jury member on that episode.
Just feel free to fast forward to the end in case you guys want to get a taste of Luke back on your screen. I know the first half of the episode might be a little irrelevant if you're only watching for Luke. So, if you're not ready yet, make sure that you have your Thursday night blocked off to watch Survivor LU episode 8. You can join our Survivor LU viewing group on Facebook, and stay tuned for our episode 8 recap episode on Monday night at 7 o'clock. Hopefully we can start on time. We had a little hiccup with our link that we were sharing, but we were so glad that we could get Luke on board and Grace. Drew, any last words before we log off for this episode 7 recap?
I'm just excited for next week. I won't be here next week, but I will be watching. Dom will have a list of questions, some serious, some not, so he'll have to figure those out. But I'm ready to see this season continue to grow and take off, so let's get it.
Heck yeah. And before we go, Dawson is tuning in just to say, hey, Luke, and he wants to let you know, remember when I voted you out. So, hey, Dawson.
Great guy.
Thanks for tuning in, Dawson. But unfortunately, you're a little too late to our live. So
we gotta get me and Dawson on a live video.
Oh, for sure. That'll be down the line once if and when Dawson joins us on this side of the screens. But thanks for tuning in, and I hope everybody has a great rest of their evening. Bye, guys.